Welcome back to Pick Up the Pieces. We are in the pickup kitchen again tonight, and it is Monday, and I am going to prep a meatloaf for tomorrow. This is one of our favorite recipes. We eat it all the time. It's a crock-pot meatloaf. I started making this recipe about 10 years ago when my daughter was little. I love that you can prep it ahead of time and then just throw it in the crock-pot and it cooks all day. You don't even have to be home to be making dinner, and it's really delicious. It's a family favorite. So I started here with about 2 pounds of ground beef. We get our ground beef from a local butcher called the Heartland Abattoir. So if you're in the Western New York area, you might be familiar with this butcher. If not, you definitely need to check it out because they have the best beef and pork, and it's just such a great place, and we love to support it. So I'm going to chop half an onion. This is a yellow onion. And this is our favorite chopper. This is a Müeller chopper. I just got it on Amazon, but it makes chopping vegetables so easy, and then you're not crying when you're chopping onions. So that's all set. I'm going to put that in the bowl. Get this out of here so it doesn't make me cry. Next, I've got 2 eggs that are going in the bowl. I've got a tablespoon of salt. Got about a half of, actually it was a teaspoon of salt, not a tablespoon. Teaspoon of salt. I've got about a half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of black pepper. And then I like to add like a steak blend seasoning. So any brand that you like, but I don't like sage, I don't like rosemary. So I know that there's certain meatloaf seasonings that people like or are used to. You can basically season this meatloaf with what you like. If you want to put garlic powder, onion powder, something like that in there, go ahead. I'm just using basically, it's like a steakhouse seasoning, and I just do like about that much. So it's probably about a teaspoon, and throw that in as well. And then I am putting in 2/3 of a cup of milk. We use 2%, but you can use whatever kind of milk you like. And then 2/3 of a cup of breadcrumbs. I buy extra measuring cups when I go to yard sales or the Goodwill or estate sales, and I throw extra measuring cups, even if they're not like a full set, even if it's mismatched. I'll throw them into containers where I have bulk amounts of ingredients. So I have a big container of breadcrumbs that I have just labeled, and this is in my cupboard. They're Italian seasoning breadcrumbs, and I am going to just put 1/3 and 2/3 of a cup in my meatloaf mix. This meatloaf cooks in the crock pot, so we're gonna have it tomorrow. Tomorrow, my daughter has one of her activities pretty much right when I get done with work. I have to take her to her activity. She's there for like 2 hours, and then when we get home, we're all starving. So this is great because it'll be cooking while I'm away, and then we'll enjoy it when we get home. We usually make mashed potatoes to go with this. You can do baked potatoes. You could even have rice if you're not a big potato family. Really, any side dish is fine. Leftover meatloaf, if there is any leftover, is delicious. And you can make that into like a meatloaf sandwich or just eat it left over. I'm just basically mixing this together with my hands. I want all the ingredients incorporated. If you wanted to add a little bit less onion, you certainly could. Half an onion seems to work perfectly for 2 pounds of meatloaf. Now, I'm not gonna make this until tomorrow, and I will show you when I put this in the crock pot tomorrow how to do that. But basically, I'm gonna put it in a Ziploc bag, and I'm gonna pop this in my fridge. It's gonna sit overnight, and then tomorrow when I'm ready to cook it, all I have to do is pull it out and throw it in the crock pot, and then dinner will be ready without even having to think about it. So all I'm doing is putting this into a bag, and I'm gonna shape it in the form of a meatloaf. And I'm gonna seal this up after I've washed this hand and put this in the refrigerator, and then I'll be back tomorrow to show you how to cook this. Now, the good thing about this recipe is that it's easily doubled or tripled What I will do is, if I have several pounds of ground beef that I want to use up, because there's 2 pounds in each recipe, so I'll take out 2 or 3 bowls and put 2 pounds of ground beef in each bowl, and then I'll just do it 3 separate times. I don't like to make a big bowl of it and then try to figure out how to evenly divide it into 2 or 3 or 4 meatloafs. I prefer to just keep it into 3 separate bowls, mix them up, put them into the freezer bag, and at this point you label it as meatloaf, put it in the freezer, and now anytime you want meatloaf, you just take it out frozen and cook it right from frozen. You do not have to thaw it overnight to be able to cook it. It can cook either from fresh or from frozen. So I will see you tomorrow when I put this in the crock pot to cook. Hi friends, and welcome back to Pickup Kitchen. I am now putting our crock-pot meatloaf in the crock pot. It is Tuesday, it's lunchtime. Your crock-pot meatloaf needs only about 4 hours to cook. So I just took this out of the fridge. It is already shaped for me because I did that yesterday. And I'm just gonna put it into my crock pot. And then we like to top ours with ketchup. Now you could certainly use barbecue sauce if you prefer. You could leave it untopped if you prefer that, but we really like it topped with ketchup. And I'm going to coat it with really a very generous layer of ketchup. It's going to seem a little bit excessive, but just trust the process here, because this ketchup will sort of cook and thicken and caramelize, and it is so tasty. And honestly, you'll never want to eat meatloaf any other way after you try this. So that is all. I just kind of put an even layer of the ketchup right on there, and I'm just gonna put the lid on, and then I'm gonna set my crock pot on low for 4 hours. And then my crock pot has a keep warm setting, so once this is done cooking around 4:30, it will keep warm for me, and then later on when we go to eat this, I will show you what it looks like. Thanks so much. See you in a bit.
Thanks for watching. See you next time.